told your team about embracing the expectations that this franchise has this year?
I think what we're focused on is each and every day, and I think we're not looking to the future. We're just trying to stay in the moment with this team, make sure that we do everything at a Super Bowl standard, and it's really about each day for us.
Opening day is such a big deal. Like in baseball, it's traditionally like a national holiday. Opening day in NFL, what's it like? Does it have a lot of meaning in that regard?
Yeah, I think there's just so much build-up with this sport now with 24-hour news. I mean, this is the most popular sport in the world by a lot, and so the first game there's always going to be that build-up, and it's exciting because people care about football, and there's no sport like it, and we're no exception. We're excited to play.
Will J.C. Jackson have any limitations in this game?
It's to be determined. He's practiced well, and we'll see how it goes in the game.
How's he look to you?
He looks like himself.
What's it like going into this game when you only have, it's Wednesday, of course, but 2 guys on the injury report when, the last time you were going to play a game, the list was super long. Like, to have your key players healthy and out there, what is it like?
Just what we expect. We expect our team to be out there, and they've practiced well throughout training camp, Bridget, and I think they've had a really quality offseason, and I think this group's hungry to play.
Just going back to JC for a second, to be determined as far as how much he's going to play. What at this point, what's left to go into that determination for you guys?
Just seeing him through a game. I mean, we've seen him in practice. Now we get to see him in a game, so we're excited. He's practiced well, and we'll see how it goes.
2 guys on the injury report, though, on week 1. How much does that speak to the new sports science and performance guys that training camp you got through things relatively clean?
Yeah, Joe, you can't say enough about Marco Zacconi leading the way, and Sal Lopez, Anthony Lamondo, Jonathan Brooks, Paige, Howard, her staff. I mean, it's been a team effort, but these players are the ones that deserve the credit. They're the ones that are out here putting in all the work, and this is a special group of guys, and they've put in the right work to get themselves ready for week 1.
Does Daiyan have a chance to play?
To be determined.
That game last year, everyone knows what you did against them defensively. Kind of a twist is Ronaldo's there now. How does that factor in to this game? Just when there was a guy here last year who was so intimately familiar with how you played defense in that game, now he's on the other side.
It won't have an impact because they're a lot different, and so are we. So this game has a life of its own, and this matchup is going to be a lot different than the last one.
Will you go back and watch that game in particular? And
you can watch it, but the teams are going to be vastly different. I mean, once we played them after that game, the next stretch of games for them, and including the playoff game, they were a different team, and so they have a different team now in all 3 phases, new coaches, and so it'll be a different matchup.
The Dolphins are one of the best when it comes to downfield passes and completions, and it's an area you guys struggled in last year. How have you seen improvement in that this offseason? What have you done to try and fix that?
Yeah, I mean, we've improved in all ways. It's time to prove ourselves, but I mean, you got to play team defense, and that's what we're trying to do here. And this is our first chance of proving it.
One of those new coaches from Miami is obviously Vic, who you know well. How much do you talk to your offense about him, and just what the challenge he possesses?
He's an outstanding coach. One of the top coaches in the game, and again, they're going to be different than how he's been in the past too. I mean, you take a look at what he's done in different places, and that's a snapshot of it. But he's got a new group of players, and we'll have to make adjustments, throughout the game.
Coach, what are you seeing from Justin Herbert, year 4, just his growth, his evolution, leadership, and managing the expectations prior to this season?
Yeah, Justin's been fantastic. I think the energy that he's played with each day in practice through training camp and through the preparation, and just I think the way that he affects everybody in the organization, you just see the comfort that he has within this team and his role within the team. And that's what you want. And he's continued to improve every year that I've been with him, and knowing those close to him going a long way back, that's one of his secrets is how much it means to him. And he's going to make the adjustments, he's going to make the improvements, but he's been fantastic for us, and we're all excited to see him play.
How is Tua different compared to other NFL quarterbacks? Is he particularly difficult to defend, prepare for, etc., compared to the other quarterbacks around the league?
Yeah, Tua had an outstanding season last year. I think he's really, really accurate with the football. He makes quick decisions, and then I think a big reason why their passing game was so prolific is the timing that he plays with, and he throws a really catchable football, which allows those skill players to run with it. So he had an outstanding season last year, and we have a lot of respect for him.
Chris Rumpf, did he hurt his hamstring in practice today, or is that something?
Yeah, there was in practice he had a hamstring issue.
Just as far as the slot corner, we sort of saw Asante take more of those reps as you guys went through training camp. Is he going to be the guy there in nickel packages to start the season?
It's fair to say that Asante will be there sometimes, but we're going to play a lot of guys there, and you're going to see Asante outside too. So he had a really, really good training camp, and I'm excited to see him play.
What's the biggest challenge in trying to defend the duo of Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle?
Oh, Bridget, I just think every play, you got to respect that, this play could go a long way. They have that impact that few do in the NFL, where every play, a big play could happen. They've got that type of ability, in the deep part of the field, in level 2, level 1. They can do a lot with the football. And so, their year last year as a tandem was as good as anybody in the game, and we have a lot of respect for them.
Just going back to Asante for a second, you mentioned obviously he had a great training camp, like tons of ball production throughout training camp. Just considering how the season ended for him, kind of a crazy game for him in Jacksonville, just what can you say about his response to that heading into training camp and then how he played through training camp?
Yeah, since he's been here, one of Asante's top qualities is his toughness. He's physically tough, mentally tough. He's a competitor, and he's improved each year as a player here in all ways. He's had an outstanding training camp. I think he's been able to showcase inside that he has top, star ability in there, and we're expecting a big year from him.
The team announced 9 captain today. What do you like about that group?
Yeah, Eric, this has been a great group to coach. We had 9 captains. It could have been 15 to 16, 17, 18 captains. We've got that many guys who have that type of leadership qualities. I think if you looked at our vote, there were so many people that were worthy of that mantle. So I think this is a group that really cares about each other. I think when you take a look at the group, it's a diverse group. But I think it goes beyond just those 9 guys. This group has a lot of leadership characteristics, and I think there's a lot of young guys that we have who are eventually going to become captains in the NFL. So it's a great sign for us moving forward, and a real credit to our organization of drafting and onboarding the right guys.
Just with Eric Hendricks, when he signed him, you probably expected that he might be in this captain role to start the season. But what does it sort of say about him and his role as a leader on the team that he's able to earn that in his first year with the team?
Yeah, Daniel, I think he's had a quick impact here. I think anytime you're a veteran player that's accomplished a lot someplace else, I think that transition, I think people minimize how tough it is. And a lot of it is just going into a brand new place and how you fit in, and the person you were, can I be that person here? And he's just very authentic. He's a very authentic player. And I think that is the type of leader that all of us respect. And he has not changed who he is, but he's adapted and fit in to this group in the same way that I think you've seen some of the other guys that we've brought, from other places like a Khalil Mack, like Sebastian, some of these guys who were captains, in their first year. He's done all of that. And, I think, you interview our guys, our coaches, he's been fantastic for us. And, again, we're excited to go compete with.
Is it easier for a veteran to make that transition to another team than maybe for somebody in his second, third, fourth year in the league?
I think in all, it depends on the person, and I think it depends on the organization that you're going with. And I think it can happen for young players. You've seen it work out, with other guys that are young players that maybe get traded or something like that. They go to a new place and then bam, they blossom. So it just depends on who the guy is. And those guys that have the feel and the instincts and that care about fitting into a new place and how to do that well, I think that's what we've done a good job of bringing guys who really care about fitting into the team. Yeah, they're going to play at a high level, but how I fit into the team chemistry and how can I enhance the team chemistry by how I fit in.
It looks like the NFL rule is 8 captains allowed on game day. So how do you figure out who gets the short straw this week?
Oh, I don't know. There aren't a lot of people dying to go out to the coin toss these days, so I'm sure the subtraction won't be difficult.
You may have to ask for volunteers.
Yeah, I know that the coin toss has become a less popular place for players, so it won't be hard to subtract, that's for sure.
Just going back to the star slot rotation, obviously Derwin has played there, can play there, played there through training camp. When you're game planning for a team and deciding how much you want to use Derwin in the slot, what's sort of the balance there for you philosophically?
Yeah, you just got to take a look at their personnel and how you think they're going to play you, and being able to adjust throughout the game. But the matchups are always something that we're looking at, and I think we've developed the depth there and the quality where we've got multiple options, and that's certainly been a goal of ours, is to be a team that can match up a lot of different ways and use our guys the right way.
With how the running game did during the preseason, how eager are you to kind of see that first group get in there and continue the momentum?
Yeah, it'll be a good challenge against this front. And they've got outstanding personnel in the front seven, so it's going to be a good matchup for us. And this matchup will show us where we're at.
Could you go 3-4 deep in terms of carries at running back?
To be determined. I think all those guys who are active on game day, they'll all have a chance to carry the ball.